I've never really been lost in this journey of life that I've had. I recall a time I wasn't lost. It was in the forest, and we'd gotten to this cabin early, and so I had some time to do some scouting, so I wanted to do some scouting ahead of time, and so I'd gone out into the woods, but I didn't have to worry because I had my compass, I had my gun, and I had, the things necessary as I was on that little journey. And I took too long. Because that short period I had to scout ended up being too long, and so it was now dark, and I had to find my way back. And when it's dark, when you don't have things that you recognize, it can be kind of an enduring time. But don't worry about me. I had my flashlight. I had my compass. I had the things I was doing. I wasn't scared by the world around me at all. I knew where I was going. That's why I whistled. Whistling always helps when you're not lost. And I hummed along the way. Somewhere along the trail, things got even darker. And when it's dark and it's pitch dark and you can't recognize anything, it can get really crazy. It jumpstarts your imagination and your thoughts when you're alone and you're lost. Well, really not lost in the dark. The unknown woods are filled with bears, lions, Sasquatch. Luckily, they heard me whistling. They could detect the confidence that I had, and they ran off. It helps to be smarter than they are. It really does. At some point, the mind begins to think some crazy thoughts. Are elk really vegetarians? Is the reason no one has seen a Sasquatch really because they're cannibals and they eat all the witnesses? No, I said this out loud. No, that can't be the case. Then I heard myself saying aloud, sure is a great night for a walk, isn't it? Suddenly, I startled something large in the bush right next to me, and went crashing to the limbs. You could hear it. You could see the figure, and I began to run like crazy. It was Sasquatch. I set a world's record in the 400-meter dash. I only slowed down to congratulate myself for being calm enough to take a jog late at night in a situation like this. If you're not going to be almost, not really, lost in the woods, you might as well take a jog. Something about getting exercise and doing that in the moment. I'm not scared. Finally, I got to the main road. When I got to the main road, it just took me a second to get home. And outside, my buddies were waiting for me, and they go, you get lost? No, I really didn't get lost. And because they're guys, they replied, yeah, I can tell by the sweat on your brow and where your clothes are soaked with sweat and stuff like that you thought it was a good night to take some exercise. Yeah, you're right, because they get it. But as humans who continually say we really aren't lost, it amazes me. We wander this planet, we exercise and do all these activities in the darkness, hoping to calm our spirits. And the depth of our denial, it's amazing. Admitting our lost condition, that's the first step. I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. Jesus Christ split eternity. When we see the play, it's cute, but did you get that moment? Oh, it's a cute baby. Everyone loves babies. No. Jesus split eternity and bottled up all his power and all his strength and wrapped it up into a vulnerable baby and say, I love you. And I've come to die for you and give you the greatest gift ever. That's what the Christmas story is about. Later, Jesus would stand on a hill and he'd look down on the people. He would see that they were lost and he would cry. They're like sheep without a shepherd. They have forgotten their purpose. They've forgotten why I've come. God, they're missing so much. His tears would come down his eyes. I've come to restore that. The question is, do you realize he has a plan for you? Do you realize he has a purpose? The kids shared it. I want to read you this one scripture in Jeremiah 29:11. It's out of the Message. It says, I'll show up. I'll take care of you, as I promised, and I will bring you back home. I know what I am doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you. Plans to give you future. Plans that give you hope. Do you hear those words? Jesus knew you before you were born. In heaven, he knew you personally. We don't remember that. And in your mother's womb, he formed you. And while you're in the womb, he designed you and created you and made you exactly as you are. He gave you gifts. He gave you talents. He gave you purpose. He's been pursuing you all your life. I don't think anyone can't take a moment and say, that had to be God. I'm here, but by the grace of God. Though you're lost, he's pursuing you. And he came to restore a relationship with you and God. That's why he came as a baby, to be personal, to declare the message. There's only one question that stands out that we really need to ponder throughout this Christmas season. Will you find the cross? Will you find the cross? In the streets of London, it's crazy. I've been there. It's massive. It's a huge city. The streets go every which way and every angle. There's no direction. It's hard to have orientation. There's certain landmarks, though, because they've been there for centuries. They serve as fail-proof reference points that you can guide yourself, that other people know about. One of them is the Charing Cross. The Charing Cross. Been there for centuries. It's well known right now because 6 tracks, railroad tracks, converge, and it's in the center of the city, and it's where everyone comes to go to the next step on their trip. One girl was lost at one time, and she's overwhelmed by the maze of the city, the concrete, the rivers, the buildings, the roundabouts, and she's lost. A Bobby, a policeman, found her wandering. She cried and says, I don't know my way home. The policeman asked, well, do you remember your address? Panic sets in because she doesn't remember her address. Do you know your phone number? Again, this does not soothe her. I didn't know. Is there anything that you can remember? Any sight that's around you that you can remember that we can kind of get a reference point and maybe go to that place? She thought for a second, and suddenly her face lit up. I know the cross. Take me to the cross. If I can find the Charing Cross, I can find my way home. Cross. Easy to find, but we deny we have need of it. It marks the way to the Father's house. It marks the way to peace. It marks the way to purpose. This season, I have 3 simple prayers as I was thinking about today. One, that if you're lost, but you really don't think you are, and you've never asked Christ to come into your life, you will get to do that today. Or if you got lost in the journey, you would say, yeah, I want to pray that prayer. I want to start that relationship with God. My second thing is that you would find your giftings and your purpose. You have no small part in the plan that he has for you. No small part. No part that's not unnecessary, that you would find that. And 3, that somehow you would re-experience his gift of love, or experience it for the first time. That this Christmas season be woken. The baby came to remind us, I'm giving my life for you, so you can have a relationship with God. I'm declaring your value. It's my life. I'm declaring I'm pursuing you, and I've never stopped. It's your choice. Would you bow your heads with me for a second? Just so you have a moment with God. How can you be found? How can you have purpose? How can you bring the true meaning of Christmas into your heart this morning? Jesus let us know, and the apostles let us know, simply by praying a prayer. I don't know how that does it, but God says, if you mean it from your heart, I do all the lifting. I do all the work. Otherwise, you might screw it up. I don't want you to screw it up. I want this relationship to work. So if you believe in me, and if you admit, and you surrender, and you will say this prayer, express these words, I'll come, begin the work. I'll come and reconnect. I'll come and let you know your part, your purpose. I will come and remind you of how much I love you. Will you repeat after me, everyone? Jesus, I believe you're the Son of God. I ask you to come into my life today. I admit I've done wrong. I admit I've been unworthy of your love. But I accept it. I receive it now. And I surrender to you. I switch. I put you in charge. Hear the words I'm saying. Come now.
Hello, I hope we've added value to your life today. Would you take a moment to subscribe so that you don't miss any live streams? And then the other thing I want to let you know is share this with a friend. And just remember, every Sunday you can be with us live. Thanks for sharing this moment.